Good.
Yes.
Action, one team, one dream. Welcome to Morning Minutes with myself, Michael Burgio, and Mark Novak. And this morning on Morning Minutes, we're going to be talking about how we feel, what we feel the best team system is in an agency, and how we can get properties live to the market on using instant media, sell properties really fast, get lots of traction, lots of buyers, more money for the client, and a new way for buyers as well. Mark, take it from the top. Caravans, just want to tell me a bit, refresh how caravans used to work as well, and probably what and how we still use it. But a lot of agents sort of, I don't know if it's selfish or just they're not working as a team.
Well, I'll give you an example. If you walk into our real estate agency and you say, hey, look, I saw 3 two-bedroom units advertised for sale. If those three two-bedroom units were listed and brought onto the market by 3 different salespeople internally. So Angelo listed one, Lisa listed one, Glenn listed one, and they all had a different two-bedroom unit with different features. Now, if you're a buyer, you really don't care. When you're a buyer, you walk into an agency or you're ringing that agency, you just want to see them all straight away. Now, it's actually it works brilliantly with us, because what we actually do is we do a automatic fee split internally that our clients don't know about, buyers don't know about, sellers don't know about. And what actually happens when a buyer walks in the door and says, hey, I want to look at all these 3 two-bedroom units, that one person, that salesperson, has the ability to show all 3 properties. Now, how does it work differently if you don't have that one team model?
Yeah, so if you're doing it differently, then you've got to inquire with that agent, make a time with them, go to the other agent, make a time. And a lot of the time, the timings aren't convenient for you, where they may be able to see it that day within an hour, then the other agent maybe tomorrow. And the reality is the time for that client to see the properties they need to come up with a sound view on what they like or don't like. Because as an agent, I'm under a strong belief, a buyer really needs to see 3 to 5 properties before they can make a decision, because they need to see some that are maybe at a higher price, lower, and just get a range of what they like, and then come to, is that good value for a property? And the power of what the structure we use, where you can just nominate one agent, go see all of them straight away, it allows you to get to a decision or a conclusion a lot faster, regardless if that is to buy it or not to buy it. I think the worst thing from a buyer's point of view and an agent is being in limbo, not knowing. So you want to get to the conclusion of that's what you like, and then that's value, and then you can proceed. So that can take a buying process that may be 1 week to 1 afternoon. Very powerful stuff, and great for the buyers and great for the owners.
Hey, can I get you to slide a little bit over to the center of the screen, Legend? Looks like you're falling off. Sorry.
Yep, there we are.
So, yeah, when you're a seller, guys, you've got to be really, really careful, because when you're a seller, if your agent, like, the great thing with us is you've actually got 8 agents working for you. So even though you're employing me to say, okay, look, can you sell my place? There's the power of 7 other real estate agents that are going to be showing their buyers your property. And you know what? Sometimes people have that relationship. Sometimes I've just got a particularly good relationship with the buyer. Michael, you list the property, and then what can happen is I can take the buyer that I've been working with for 1, 2, or 3 months through your property and get a commission. People have got to realize you can't do that with probably 60, 70% of real estate offices. If there is a split, it's not a straight down the middle split. It's maybe 10%, and that agent doesn't lift a finger for a buyer when someone else has listed another property internally in the office.
And I'll tell you how that works in a live example. Let's say you meet a young family that's looking for a 3-bedroom home in Narrowena. You know this buyer's, say you've got a great relationship with this buyer, so they're not really looking elsewhere. They've just said, Mike, I want to buy a property through you. You've done a lot with us, just find me that property. Now, let's say your colleague, Mark, has a property that will tick all their boxes, but you may have another one that you think may tick their boxes in 4 weeks. So what that agent will do, instead of saying, hey, John and Kerry, a colleague has a property I think would be great for you, because he knows he will only get 10% of the commission, but if they buy the property he may have coming up in 4 weeks, he'll get 100%. He won't tell John and Kerry about that other listing. That means they don't get to see it, and the vendor of that property doesn't get that buyer that could be perfect for it. And sometimes there could already be a buyer on it, and that second buyer creates that competition that may get that owner 5, 10, 50 grand more for the property. With agents running it more of a selfish structure, they're only going to save it for their listing, and that just isn't in the best interest. It is for the agent, but it is not for the clients, which then reverts to not being in the best interest for the agent. Because you just want to help people and do what's best for them and show them as many properties as you can. If you do, as Lisa Novak always says, if you do right by people, the money will come. So don't think of the money first.
An example of that is when with buyers, say you want to buy a car, right? And you walk in, you go, oh, look, you know, I think I want a Corolla, but I'm also happy to look at the RAVs, and I'm happy to look at, you know, the other cars that are there. And you go, no, look, sorry, I can only sell the Corolla to you. You go, what do you mean? You go, well, you got to speak to Barry, or you got to speak, if you want to talk about the RAV and the other car over there, we got to speak to Mary about that. It's not in the client's best interest. The industry's got it backwards. It's gone wrong. It used to be that way, the way we operate. The way we operate is probably a bit of an old-fashioned way, but it's where the client wins, where the client gets the best service.
And didn't they used to do it on a much larger scale between companies? I remember hearing on a Tuesday, all agents from all companies, or whatever day it was, would meet at one agent's listing. So let's say I've got a listing, people from LJ Hooker, Rain and Horn, all these companies would all meet at this property, all in different cars. There'd be 50 cars parked out the front of this house. The listing agent would run a tour of the property, and then everyone would go to another one. Is that correct, Mark? Is that what happened?
Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there used to be a system called EAC Multilist, and what used to happen, it was an inter-office property sharing tool where you could actually that's where our industry got the word caravan from, because it was from the EAC Multilist days. I can't remember what day it used to be on. I think it was a Thursday morning, if my memory serves me correctly. And this is back in 1993. So the system was around for about 10 or 15 years, the EAC Multilist system. And what would happen is I would list that property on EAC Multilist system, and then any agent on the Northern Beaches that was part of EAC Multilist could actually sell that property. So when a property came onto market, it was bloody hilarious. We would have 100 or 120 real estate agents racing to that property, then to the next property, then to the next property, to have a look through at all the new properties coming on the market.
I love that. Where did that fall away? Did it fall away when the market came so strong? Buyers, that's probably when you had to work a lot harder for buyers.
You did.
Why did it fall away? That sounds great.
Look, it was certainly fun, because the real estate agents are hilarious. So to get them all in one room, there was these love-hate relationships that were just so funny. But the EAC Multilist caravan that we used to do, it fell away. I think a lot of people just started not putting properties on that could not be sold, just rubbish properties. So it sort of ended up being just the dregs and stuff that couldn't be sold and it was too high priced. Would go on to the EAC Multilist, unfortunately. But look, it was a terrific system for 10 to 15 years and people got so much value out of it. But we work that way, ladies and gentlemen. So I heavily promote that, we have internally, people would know, but we've got a fee split of almost half, where the listing agent, the person that brings the property to the office, gets 50%, and then the selling agent gets the other half. And then what happens is there's this competitive bidding between us. So often we'll have 2 or 3 different agents with their buyers putting offers in on behalf of the buyers, and the owner is just getting this cracker of a price. Believe it or not, sometimes agents, if won't bat as hard for a client if depending on different circumstances, but we bat hard because we want to get the selling commission. Otherwise, another agent in the office is going to sell it.
And you know what I love that comes from that system and the competitiveness is then we do a best and fairest. So a lot of owners that always, especially in a strong market, like, should I do an auction? I want that sort of vibe. But a lot of the time, especially when the market's not as strong, you don't want to have an auction with one person because it doesn't always work out that well. But with how we end when we've got say 3 agents all with one buyer each competing for this one property, then we'll basically do like a closed letter, best offer, and then we open it. And so what will happen there, you would say by 5 o'clock on Tuesday, all those agents submit the best offer from their buyer in writing with the terms, which is a big one as well. The terms, and whoever's the successful will get the property. And a lot of time you do that at the level when you sort of at a level the owners are happy with. Let's say 800,000. You may have 3 offers, for an example, at 790, 800, 805, and they're all around the same ballpark. So the owner goes, I'm happy with this. But this is where agents bring the extra money for their client and make the money, like make way more than what our fee is. Because then you do a best and fairest. And because the buyers only get one chance, a lot of the time I've seen up to 50, 60 grand more on a unit. So they're at 800 and someone goes, 810, but then you have one buyer that does 840, and the owner's like, how'd you get that extra 40 grand? And that's the value that it brings from the competition.
But people don't realize that competition breeds competition. Sometimes you often don't want to compete with yourself. Like, it doesn't sort of make sense. Do you know what I mean? So this competition of having multi-agents in the office working for an owner, this competition is just simply, it's just unbelievable. And like you said there, how many examples do we have every month where we've gotten 40 grand because of that competition environment we've got? And then, guys and girls, if you've just tuned in, we're talking about the way we work at Novak as a team. We are structured differently to the majority of real estate offices in Sydney, where we're not squads, we're not running in our own lane, we're a team getting the best price for a property. So an example is today, when you jump on social media at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, you'll see 8 real estate agents walking through one house. And the reason why that doesn't happen and why you don't see that anywhere else in social media is because an agent lists a property and sells that property, and nobody else in their office can sell that property. It's weird, the old-fashioned way. That the other way, I should say, is weird.
It is, and then it really emphasised the power of instant media, because when that old pitch, the agent would be like, before we go to the portals, let me market it to my database, and you've got to have everything prepared. The speed now it goes to a database / social media is crazy. So you do the caravan, but it's 8 agents all going live doing a video on their respective portals.
It's incredible.
And it just speeds it up. It's really good. And that's why they're heading today's one team, one dream. Teamwork, or would I say teamwork makes the dream work. And there's no I in team, because that's how our foundation is set. And it works very well for owners. Anything else you want to add on today, Mark? Where else do you want to go with that?
No, look, that's it. And I know a lot of people ask us about it, so it's good. It's great just to give people a bit of an inroad. But we're often pitching with clients, so clients are saying, "Why should we use you to sell?" And this has given us an absolute huge edge over any of our competition, because you've got 8 real estate agents selling your property, not just one, or 8 real estate agents. It's like buyers times 8. You're not waiting for those buyers to come off realestate.com.au or the old-fashioned ways. They're there in the 8 different agents buyer database, and they compete. It's the best way to get the highest price for a property. We do it. We do it
It's
well.
so true. Like if you're looking at an agent, they call in three, an owner, they call in three agents. Then maybe, let's say there's agent A who's an absolute gun, and then agent B, let's say we're agent B in this scenario, and the other agent's 10% better than whatever way you look at it, just say 10% better than the agent at Novak. But then when you look at this open selling in Caravan, when you see there's 7 other agents behind who are doing tremendous as well, even if they're all on par, let's say they're 80%, 8 agents at 80% is better than 1 agent at 95%, for example. Like
Big time.
it packs a mean punch, which
You
is
know
in
what
the
it
best
reminds me
interest
of?
for everybody.
I watched the Michael Jordan documentary on Netflix.
Yes. Yes.
It's on at the moment, and it's great. I think it's 8 episodes, and they talk about Michael Jordan playing a great game. He's just this beast, right? He's just such a good player.
Yeah.
And then what actually happens is they acknowledge that he's just a really good player. Everyone's like Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan, but they're not number one in the comp.
Yeah.
And year after year after year, Michael Jordan is one of the best players in the comp. But it's like he's not, he was probably like, I'd say if you had to rank him, he was like top 3 to 10 players in the whole comp,
Yeah.
right? And this new coach comes along and absolutely annihilates Michael Jordan. And he says, dude, I'm changing the way the team works. You're going to have less ball time. And this is the configuration. It was like a diamond pattern that he had.
Yeah, the triangle pattern. Yeah.
He had the team in. And he's like, and everyone's going to be passing the ball more. So anyway, the coach trains the whole team to play a different game with Michael Jordan.
Because the reason behind that is, just quickly to emphasize and break that, because he was top scorer for every team, every player, say with averaging 40 points a game. But 40 points a game does not win you a game when, let's say, the average score is 90. You need 90 points to win. Even if you got the best player scoring 60, that's still not enough. You need to be a team. So he says, I'd rather have you scoring 50, but 3 other players also scoring 50, and we're at 150. So that's where it comes down to. You need to be a team.
And guess what happened?
Then the team started winning. They won 6 premierships in 8 years. They were unstoppable. And the 2 years they didn't win was really the 2 years he didn't play. So it would have been amazing if he did it. But strong team is better than a strong individual player when we're in a team sport. If you're playing golf yourself, fair enough, be the best. But we're in a team sport. If you have but a lot of agents run it like individual, like they're a golf player, but you don't have to be. That's like saying I could play, I don't know, you could play tennis doubles, but yes, you're the best singles player. But if you have the option of another player, why wouldn't you use it? It'd be silly. So that's where we come into. But
and that's the thing. Highly skilled agents is what you're employing as well. So the way we work is, yes, we're a team, but it's not like a team of juniors. It's a team of pro players. That's going to always win the game of getting the best price for a client. Absolutely, hands down. Hey, Adita.
I was just about to say, good to see you. Missed you. When are you coming back?
Rosemary, Kim, Fort Media legends.
Yeah.
Ross
Russo,
Michael.
Piers.
G'day, here's everyone there. Dom,
Novak,
there he is. Fab, there's Fabulous from Fabulous Cleaning. Sydney Eyelashes, Dom. Legends, guys, legends.
A lot of legends.
But that's the breakdown of teamwork makes the dream work, everyone. So if you can in any industry, if you can manage your crew and your team to play a better game, to deliver better results for clients in a coordinated manner, it's always going to do better than the one-man band. 100%. Because that person can have a bad game. That Michael Jordan can have a bad game, but if the rest of the team's kicking, if the rest of the cylinders are firing, it'll be okay. You can afford to.
Yep. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Back tomorrow morning.
Giddy up. Have a great day, everyone. Love you. Hope you enjoyed the good long weekend. It was good, eh?
Yeah, it's good. Cheers, guys.
It's a cracker.
Bye.
See you, everyone. Bye, bye, bye.